Alex Mercer had spent years in space, but nothing about this assignment had prepared him for tonight. The research station on Outpost K-19 was silent, too silent, and the metallic corridors echoed under his boots as he returned from the routine patrol of the barren asteroid surface. The outpost was small, with only a handful of humans stationed here, but its importance could not be overstated. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly, mining rare minerals and running experiments that could change the course of human technology. Alex's job was simple on paper: protect the station, monitor any unusual activity, and ensure no external threats got too close. But simple was never how it worked in space. He reached his quarters expecting the usual calm hum of the life support system and the faint scent of recycled air. Yet something was off. At the doorway, leaning casually, was a figure he had never seen before. She was striking, almost impossibly so. Her skin shimmered faintly, catching the lights in shades of silver and blue, and her eyes were bright, intelligent, and unafraid. She grinned, the kind of bold, confident smile that made it clear she knew more than she let on. "Well, say something," she said, her voice smooth, almost teasing. Alex froze. For a moment, he wondered if he was imagining it. His mind raced. Protocols, security alerts, hostile alien presence, but nothing made sense. No one had been reported to arrive at the station, and certainly no one had the ability to appear at a human door like this without permission. Who are you?" he asked cautiously, his hand resting near his sidearm. The woman laughed softly, a sound that seemed to float in the air, like it belonged more to a dream than reality. "I could ask the same about you, human. Commander Mercer, was it? Don't worry, I'm not here to hurt you." Alex narrowed his eyes. Her calmness, her confidence, and her strange presence made him uneasy. But something else stirred: curiosity. "If you're not here to hurt me, then what do you want?" "I'm here to observe," she said, straightening up. Her posture was perfect, relaxed but commanding. "And to test. Humans are interesting creatures. Sometimes I wonder how you survive in this galaxy." Alex blinked. "Test? Observe? What are you talking about?" She tilted her head, still smiling. "You'll see. First, you must learn to expect the unexpected. That is your greatest strength." He didn't like the cryptic tone, but before he could respond, the station's alarm system blared. Red lights flashed along the corridors, casting long shadows. Alex's heart jumped. He was trained for emergencies, but alarms on this scale were rare. "What's happening?" he shouted, scanning the empty hallway for threats. The woman's grin widened. "This is your test." Before Alex could process her words, the station's main monitor flickered to life. The display showed an incoming fleet of ships, moving with precision and intent. Their designs were alien, sleek, dark, and far more advanced than any human craft. Alex's stomach twisted. "Enemy vessels," he muttered. He tried to call for reinforcements, but the comms were dead. The fleet was close, moving fast. There was no time. The woman, Lyra, as she eventually introduced herself, did not panic. She simply stepped closer, examining the console. "You can survive this," she said, "but only if you trust your instincts and embrace what makes you human." Alex was confused. "Trust what? How can humans compete with that?" Lyra's eyes sparkled. "With your creativity, your unpredictability. That is something no advanced system or alien strategy can account for. You adapt. You improvise. You survive where others fail." He swallowed hard, trying to focus. He had led human patrols before, but he had never faced a fleet this size or technology this advanced. He felt the weight of responsibility, not just for himself, but for the scientists and engineers on the station. The first wave of ships approached the outer defenses. Their weapons glowed with energy that humans could barely comprehend. Alex moved quickly, directing the station's automated turrets, trying to buy time. Lyra, surprisingly, guided him in ways he had not considered, showing weaknesses in the enemy formation, suggesting maneuvers he would never have thought of. "You see," she said as he executed her suggestion, "it is not strength alone that wins battles. It is strategy, intuition, and the courage to act when others hesitate." The fleet paused for a moment, recalibrating, but Alex had already set a trap. Using a combination of the station's limited defenses and some unorthodox maneuvers, the first wave of enemy ships was forced to retreat. The station shook under the impact of minor blasts, and alarms screamed in the background, but they had survived the initial strike. Alex leaned against a console, breathing heavily. How did you know that would work?" Lyra shrugged, still leaning casually, her expression playful yet serious. "I didn't." "You did. I merely pointed out possibilities. Humans always surprise me when they act instead of wait." There was a long silence, broken only by the hum of the station's emergency systems. Alex realized something important. The presence of Lyra wasn't just strange, it was vital. She had knowledge, yes, but she respected his judgment. She understood that human intuition, creativity, and adaptability were strengths, not weaknesses. As the second wave of ships approached, Alex felt a spark of determination. He could lead, he could protect this station, and perhaps for the first time in his career, he didn't feel alone. Lyra's grin widened. "Good, you're learning. But remember, this is only the beginning. Survival is not just about firing weapons or defending walls. It is about seeing beyond what is visible, predicting what cannot be predicted, and trusting yourself." Alex nodded. He didn't fully understand her, and he didn't know why she had appeared. But he knew one thing. Humanity had been underestimated for far too long, and maybe this was the moment to prove why humans were more than just fragile creatures in a vast galaxy. The night stretched on, filled with tension, strategy, and bursts of alien fire. The station trembled under the assault, yet Alex moved with precision, inspired by the strange confidence Lyra brought. Every challenge forced him to think differently, to improvise solutions in real time. By dawn, the station was battered, but still standing. The alien fleet had withdrawn, at least temporarily, perhaps reconsidering the unpredictability of humans. Alex sank into a chair, exhausted but exhilarated. Lyra appeared beside him, her presence calm and reassuring. "You did well," she said softly. "Humans have a spark that even the most advanced civilizations cannot replicate. Remember this night. Remember that your mind, your courage, and your adaptability are powerful weapons." Alex exhaled slowly. He had faced something beyond human comprehension, survived, and even learned something profound from an alien being who had no reason to trust him. Lyra stepped toward the doorway. "I will return," she said cryptically. "There are more tests. There are more challenges, and humanity has much more to show the galaxy." Before Alex could respond, she vanished, leaving only a faint shimmer in the air. The station was silent once more, except for the hum of the life support systems and the distant sounds of recovery. Alex stared at the doorway, unsure if what had happened was real or a dream. But deep down, he knew one thing. Nothing in his life would ever feel ordinary again. Humans had a spark, and tonight he had seen it ignite, not just in himself, but in the potential of all humanity. The first part of the test was over, but the journey had just begun. Alex would have to learn to trust himself, trust his instincts, and prepare for the greater challenges Lyra had promised. And somewhere in the galaxy, a mysterious being was watching, smiling at the boldness and ingenuity of a single human who refused to be underestimated. The sun of Outpost K-19 barely peeked over the jagged asteroid horizon, casting long, sharp shadows across the station. Alex Mercer stood at the observation deck, staring at the empty space where Lyra had vanished the night before. The adrenaline from the first wave of attacks had faded, but the tension lingered. He knew the alien fleet would not retreat for long. They were calculating, patient, and ruthless. Yet, despite the fear gnawing at his chest, he felt something new, a quiet confidence. Lyra had shown him that human unpredictability could be a weapon. Now it was time to test that lesson on a larger scale. The first warning came in the form of a faint signal on the station's long-range scanner. A new fleet was approaching, larger than the previous one. Alex quickly organized the station's defenses. Engineers rushed to reinforce shields, technicians recalibrated turrets, and the small garrison of human soldiers prepared for battle. "This is bigger than last night," said Lieutenant Rivera, one of the seasoned soldiers on the station. "I don't know if we can hold them off." Alex shook his head. "We can. We have to. Remember what she said. Our strength is in thinking differently, in using what they don't expect. We're human. We adapt. We survive." The fleet appeared on the horizon, dark silhouettes glinting with deadly energy. Alex studied their formation, noting patterns and weaknesses. Lyra had taught him to look for subtleties, gaps in formation, slight delays in maneuvers, predictable intervals in energy pulses. He realized that the aliens relied on superior firepower and technology, but they were not perfect. They had not accounted for creativity, for risk-taking, for improvisation. "Deploy the decoys," Alex ordered. "Scatter the drones in a wide formation. Use the outer turrets to draw their fire. Then we'll hit their command ships where it hurts." Lieutenant Rivera raised an eyebrow. "You really think this will work?" Alex smiled faintly. "I know it will. Trust me, and trust humanity." The decoys moved into position, small drones armed with minimal weaponry but enough to confuse the fleet's targeting systems. When the alien ships opened fire, several fell for the trap, redirecting their massive energy blasts toward empty targets. The station shook, but the main defenses remained intact. Lyra appeared again at Alex's side, as if materializing from the shadows. "I see you've remembered my lesson," she said, her grin sharp and knowing. "Humans are clever when they must be. Let's see how far your creativity can go." Alex nodded, his focus unbroken. "We're about to find out." The battle intensified. Alien ships darted forward, their weapons crackling with energy that could melt through reinforced hulls. Alex directed the station's turrets with precision, targeting weak points he had identified. Using the decoys to lure the enemies into vulnerable positions, the human crew struck with careful timing. Lyra's presence was both unsettling and motivating. She didn't fight alongside them, yet her suggestions were uncanny, guiding Alex toward strategies that seemed almost impossible. "Humans don't follow rules as strictly as other species," she said, almost to herself. "That is why they endure." Hours passed like minutes. The station groaned under the relentless assault, but Alex's tactics worked. The alien fleet had underestimated the humans, assuming brute strength and technology alone would secure victory. They had not anticipated ingenuity, adaptability, or the courage to act decisively when stakes were high. At one point, a massive alien dreadnought broke through the outer defenses, bearing down on the station's core. Alex's mind raced. Conventional strategies would fail. They would be destroyed in moments. Then he remembered Lyra's cryptic advice. Think beyond what is visible. Trust yourself. Adapt. He ordered a risky maneuver. The station's energy reserves were diverted into a single turret, a massive cannon capable of firing a concentrated blast. Alex guided the turret manually, using the dreadnought's predictable movement against it. The shot hit perfectly, creating a chain reaction that disabled the alien ship's engines and caused it to drift helplessly into the void. The human crew erupted in cheers, but Alex knew the battle was not over. More ships were coming. each wave testing their endurance and creativity. Yet, with each challenge, humans found ways to outthink their enemies. Improvised energy shields, clever use of asteroid terrain for cover, and daring counterattacks kept the fleet at bay. Lyra observed silently, her expression unreadable. She occasionally offered insights, pushing Alex to think faster, act smarter, and trust his instincts. "Do not fear failure," she said at one point, her voice calm amidst chaos. "Fear hesitation. Humans win when they act boldly." By nightfall, the alien fleet was retreating. The human crew was exhausted, battered, and bruised, but victorious. Outpost K-19 still stood, a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. Alex looked at the observation deck, expecting Lyra to appear. She did, leaning casually against the railing, her eyes reflecting the distant stars. "You have done well," she said. "You have survived not because of your technology, not because of brute force, but because of your mind, your courage, and your will. That is what makes humans extraordinary." Alex felt a surge of pride. He had always believed in human potential, but seeing it realized against overwhelming odds, guided by the enigmatic alien, was humbling. "Why help me?" he asked. "Why trust humans?" Lyra's smile was enigmatic. "Because the galaxy underestimates you. Many species see humans as fragile, primitive, or predictable. They are wrong. I have observed, and now I know, your species has the spark that could change everything. You just have to see it yourself." Alex nodded, understanding more than he could articulate. Humans were underestimated, yes, but their greatest strength lay in adaptability, ingenuity, and courage. Even in the face of advanced alien technology, humans could survive and thrive because they did not follow predictable patterns. They created them. The aftermath was quiet but filled with subtle celebrations. Engineers repaired the station, soldiers tended to minor injuries, and Alex walked among his team offering encouragement. The station had survived, but more importantly, its people had endured and proven their worth. That night, as Alex sat in his quarters, he thought about Lyra and the lessons she had imparted. She was mysterious, perhaps more advanced than any alien species he had encountered, yet she respected humans and their unique abilities. He realized that her tests were not just about survival, they were about understanding potential, about showing humanity that they were capable of more than they believed. As he drifted to sleep, the station quietly hummed around him. Somewhere beyond the stars, Lyra watched, knowing that humans had passed her test. She had come to see what they were truly capable of, and she was satisfied. Alex's dreams were vivid, filled with stars, alien worlds, and the echoes of Lyra's laughter. He understood that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, filled with threats and wonders alike, but he no longer feared the unknown. He had seen humanity's strength firsthand, and it was more powerful than any alien fleet or technology. By morning, life at Outpost K-19 returned to routine, but with a difference. The humans were stronger, wiser, and more confident. Alex walked through the corridors, meeting the eyes of his team and seeing their quiet pride. They had survived impossible odds, and in doing so had discovered the truth of Lyra's lesson. Humans were remarkable, unpredictable, and resilient. Lyra's final words echoed in his mind. Trust yourself, adapt, survive. Humans endure where others fail. Alex smiled. He was ready for whatever came next. The stars stretched endlessly above the outpost, silent witnesses to the resilience of humanity. And somewhere out there, Lyra waited, curious to see what these humans would do next. Alex knew one thing with certainty. Humanity had only just begun to show its true power. The galaxy would not forget them.